Bro, I know for a fact that you are so tired of watching all these other people on YouTube living abroad, overseas, living their best life, enjoying the life and the place that they're actually living in and that they've moved to, and you're stuck in the cold. You'll start paying some stupid price just to live. Cost of living's all kind of crazy, and you're not really enjoying your hometown or country where you're actually living, especially if you're living in the West, US or America. I know, we both know that, bro. Listen, choosing the wrong type of place to live as an entrepreneur or even as someone who's looking to level up and build or is currently building their online business, bro, can just mean instant death, bro. You don't want to move to somewhere or even stay in a place which has a high cost of living, you know, high tax rate, all these type of things that are stopping you from actually being able to maybe not even make money, but actually keep and retain, invest and grow the money that you are actually making, bro. Like, what's the point? Lifestyle arbitrage is real, and I'm going to be telling you about that exactly in this video. Just like many other people you see who are doing similar paths to myself, living abroad, literally a hack of life, bro. Building an online business, working for yourself, working fully remote, often in the sun, which is actually cheaper and has a lower cost of living compared to where I'm from, which is obviously the UK, right? Just outside of London, right? Is literally a hack of life, bro. Being able to set yourself up in a tax efficient way where you can literally live in the sun, which costs you roughly half of what it costs you to live back in your home country. So for me, being in the UK, where you can make money online, you've literally hacked life, bro. You're living in a hot country. It's a hack. It's literally a glitch in the matrix, bro. So if you're looking to do the same thing, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down some different places that you could actually consider moving and or relocating to if you're already building your online business and looking to hack life. If you're simply looking to have a lower cost of living or decrease your personal expenses and also set yourself up in a way which means that you can actually start to keep and retain the amount of money that you're making from your online business, bro. What's the point of, you know, working a 9-to-5 job in a cold ass country which you don't even enjoy, paying overpriced for food, for day-to-day activities and expenses, and not even enjoying the actual lifestyle that you have? You know, it's very simple. It's not easy, but it is simple to be able to relocate yourself and actually build an online business living in a country which you enjoy, and is a lot cheaper and more affordable if that is your goal, to decrease your actual expenses so you can live cheap, save money, invest money, do what you need to do, and overall make more money, which is the goal, and be happy. And stick around to the end, because when I give you some list of different places, I'm also going to show you how you can connect with people in these different places who are also running their online businesses as well. I got gems for you. So if you're like me, when I first came out to Thailand a year ago, and I would say that you're just a beginner, you're an amateur, you don't know shit, it's your first time trying to start and actually run an online business, you've never made money on your own business full time before coming out. That was literally me, right? I'd been coming from a corporate background, working a 9-to-5 for the past, 2 to 3.5 years, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go take a risk and I'm gonna make this shit work. For me, literally looking at my steps and what I've done, obviously I'm naturally gonna, suggest somewhere like Thailand or somewhere in Southeast Asia where your cost of living, especially if you're coming from the West like America or the UK, right, your cost of living can decrease by average about 40 to 60% depending on your lifestyle. And the key word here, phrase here, is depending on your lifestyle, right? I live a very frugal lifestyle. Like, I'm obviously able to sustain myself and, run my online business fully, but at the same time, like, I don't have nothing to prove. I live relatively cheap. I don't really have any big overheads. I sold my car back in the UK. I'm just out here living, making money, just being smart, I don't have anything to prove to anybody. Wearing cheap clothes. I live in Thailand. Nothing is really a great expense because I don't need to live like that. And my lifestyle is not like that. I'm just not that type of person. So for that reason, for someone like me who doesn't really care about materialistic things, like obviously look good, feel good, do good, but at the same time, I don't need to be living in the biggest apartment in the fucking 52nd floor of like the biggest building in Thailand. I don't really care, right? Or living in a massive ass overpriced villa, paying, what I would pay the equivalent of back home for like a 2-bed apartment when I live in Thailand. So for me, the smarter thing to do is take advantage of the lifestyle arbitrage and the fact that it's a lot cheaper and has a lower cost of living here, and it is more affordable. Like, use that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It can be a very useful tool and hack in life to help you get ahead of other people and actually start to be able to make online money, invest your money that you're making, because you don't have as high of a overall expenses, personal expenses that you would have living back in the West. So if you are someone who is making between, 0 to 5K, which was me, I was making 0K per month when I first came out here to Thailand, right? From any online business. You didn't even have an online business, right? Thailand is a perfect place. Am I here to now go and be like, oh, everybody and their dad should move to Thailand? No, you could even move to, Vietnam, the Philippines. You could even forget Southeast Asia, even though it's known for being relatively affordable. You could even go to South America. How about that? You could go to somewhere in Colombia. You could go to somewhere in Brazil, If I could go back and I wasn't to pick Southeast Asia and Thailand specifically, I probably would have went to South America, genuinely, because I like the culture, it's good weather there, and I know it is relatively a lot more affordable, maybe 20 to 45% or up to 50% cheaper compared to what it is like in the UK, depending on what part. Obviously, if you're staying in the center, don't be dumb guys and comment some bullshit like, oh bro, but if you know, go to Rio de Janeiro, obviously it's going to be more expensive if you're in the city. But if you are living somewhere which, you know, is not too crazy, not crazy overpopulated or a massive tourist trap, right? You know, take advantage of lifestyle arbitrage and actually living in a cheaper place, more affordable, to allow you to actually save more money. For example, when I was living back home, again, when I was working a full-time job, I used to pay rent, you know, living in my mum's house of about £600. And obviously now I'm out here living in Thailand, I've got my own condo, you know, I'm on a high up floor, relatively high up. It's not the biggest place as you can see, but it's good for me. It allows me to save and invest a lot of the money that I'm making. So I literally have no complaints, and I'm paying like £600, which is £100 more what I would pay for my mum, shout out mumsy, just to live in my room. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And I got my own place, do you know what I'm trying to say? For what, £100 more, which is like what, 130 USD more. So if you are looking to have an increased lifestyle, right, for a relatively lower cost of living, somewhere like Southeast Asia or somewhere like South America, depending on which part, that is the key. Both of these regions in the world have very expensive places that could even be more expensive than the UK, more expensive than London, more expensive than some parts of America, for example. So it all depends on where you are looking to go and live. For example, if I was to go and move to Bali, which is pretty much next door, like 3-hour flight from where I am now in Thailand, it probably would be maybe 15% more expensive and an increased cost of living compared to where I'm currently staying now in Thailand, right? So it just depends on what part of the region you want to move to. So go and do your research. However, as an overall overarching, you know, thing to think about, just understand in your head or have it in the back of your head that if you are, you know, living a frugal lifestyle like me, I don't have nothing to prove to anybody. Like, I will literally go and walk out. I've got, you know, shorts that aren't the newest. I don't really care. I wear sliders for the majority of the day. Like, you know, I live frugally. I save and invest my money. You know, I don't have nothing to prove to anybody, right? You can be able to actually have a big gap of money every single month if you're making all right money. If you're actually able to sustain yourself and you're making good money, you can actually invest a lot of the money because you have a bigger gap and buffer that's left over. What you don't want to be doing, and again, this is obviously no financial advice, like, bro, do what you want to do. Like, who am I? What do I know? But like, what you don't want to be doing is, from my own experience, is when I was living back in the UK, I had a lot of overheads. That was because of me. Like, I was paying a lot more in my personal expenses and overheads because of my ego, and I wanted to look the part. So I'm always buying new clothes to look good for people that I'm meeting, you know, my friends and stuff. I had a car, I was driving everywhere, even though I didn't need to. I could have really walked and just took a bus, but obviously I wanted to be like, look at me, I got my car. So I'm ending up paying a lot of money in petrol. Like, one of the things you need to realize, especially if you're in your 20s, bro, is that ego tax is a real thing, right? Ego tax is a real thing. If you run an online business, you're gonna get taxed normally, business tax, you got personal income tax, whatever, right? Ego tax is the tax that you end up paying yourself because you feel like you have to prove things to people in the form of purchasing materialistic transactions and materialistic things. Like, when I was living in the UK, I paid a lot of tax in ego tax because I felt, like I said, I had to look the part, I had to drive everywhere. I don't want to be known as tired as catching the bus and, you know, is on the top of a double-decker bus pulling up to the motive or whatever, which is silly. So I ended up having to pay more money and have an increased overall living expense and personal expense simply because of my ego and what I allowed myself to kind of spend, which was more than I needed to spend just because I wanted to look good and prove things to people. So again, as always, just learn from my mistakes. Right now I'm living here in Thailand. Like I keep saying, like, I don't really have, you know, I spend less money here, even though it's more affordable here compared to what I was doing back home in the UK. Even though, right, like, it's more affordable here. So you would think, oh, like, surely Thai would be out here spending more money, but it's actually the opposite because I've just kind of changed my paradigm to the point where I understand that I don't have nothing to prove to anybody. Like, I don't care what people think of me. I'm very, you know, self-assured and confident within myself that, like, I don't need to go and, you know, overspend on something just to look good for somebody else. So what I'm trying to say is, move to a different country that is relatively cheaper, understand lifestyle arbitrage and what that can do for you, especially if you're a young entrepreneur or someone who's looking to, you know, run their online business. You know, you're making 0 to 10K per month in your online business, right? Lifestyle arbitrage is a hack, bro. Like, it really is. Being able to go and sustain yourself and live in a cheaper part of the world, right? Take advantage of that. Like, don't come to somewhere like Southeast Asia or South America, know that it's a lower cost of living, and then because you want to look like Billy Big Bollocks, you're now having twice your actual personal expenses compared to what it was back home, simply because you want to look the part. And it's easier to have that inflated lifestyle. It's easier to get your hands on a big ass villa in Phuket, Thailand, because it's cheap. So now you're trying to do that and step into that, and before you know it, you're paying what, £2,000 to £3,000 in, you know, your condo or villa rent, which to me is just stupid, bro. Like, you literally live in Thailand, like you could literally get by on £600 a month like me. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And you're here trying to look the part and look good and have this big villa. I've done all of that. Like last year I did all of that. You don't need to do that, bro. So just think smart. You have nothing to prove to no one. But back to what we're talking about. Lifestyle arbitrage is so real. And if you are, you know, an entrepreneur, if you are running an online business and you're in your 20s, bro, and you're making anywhere from 0 to 15K a month, really, I personally would be prioritizing lifestyle arbitrage so you can actually make money and invest a lot of the money that you're making, because you hacked life, bro. You're making money from, you know, a different part of the world, like the UK or the US, for example, spending portions of that money, keyword parts or portions of that money, in a place which has a lower cost of living and is a lot more affordable. I'm here eating chicken and rice for £1 every single day. I don't need to go to no fancy restaurant. Obviously, if I have a meet up or a dinner with my boys and we go for like a business dinner or something like that, it's different. And you know, it works for me. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm taking advantage of where I've currently placed myself in the world. So I would feel like I'd be silly not to take advantage of that and not to eat, you know, and live an affordable lifestyle. Push your personal expenses as down, as further down as you possibly can, like as much to the bottom as you can. And obviously that's what comes on to, you know, when you're running an online business. And again, I'm no type of advisor, financial, whatever. This is not no advice, but like, you want to be able to set yourself up and your online business in a way where you are taking advantage of, you know, setting yourself up in a tax efficient way, which is a lot easier than you actually think when you're out running an online business and you actually have the connections and the knowledge to know how you can actually go and do these things. How many people do you know? I don't need to tell you that myself. How many people do you know who you've heard of left their hometown, built an online business and set themselves up in Dubai and went to go live in Dubai and paying 0% tax? You know what I'm trying to say? Or like there's Paraguay, all these little different tax havens, or in the Caribbean, or, you know, US LLCs, all these different types of things that you can do to set yourself up in a way where you're running an online business, right? You're living in your 20s, running an online business that is tax efficient. So you push that over to as little amount as possible in terms of money you're actually losing. Then you've got your personal lifestyle, your personal expenses and, you know, living costs that, because of the lifestyle arbitrage and where you've placed yourself in the world, you're also pushing that down to as low as possible. And now that's how you're really able to start to, you know, live life smartly and play the chess game correctly. Like, I'm 22, I'm turning 23 in a few months. This is not no financial advice, none of that shit. But I'm just telling you some of the lessons that I have learned and what I've realized from meeting a lot of entrepreneurs and people who are running an online business out here, whether that be in Thailand or in different neighboring countries that I might have went to go and visit. So just think smart. You have nothing to prove to anybody. If you have, you know, left home, quit your job and went to go and run it up overseas and, you know, build an online business, think to yourself, how can I do this smart and take advantage of lifestyle arbitrage, right? Like, you don't need to be out here paying shit tons of money just to look good for anybody or just to try and look like you are that guy. Be that person. Don't try and show that you're that person, because that which you actually are, you don't need to prove or show, all right? So if you are someone who is, you know, starting out like I was last year when I came out here and I was making no income, right? But now running a full-time online business, these are some things that I wish I knew a bit sooner, and I know that this can definitely help you. At the end of the day, a word to the wise is sufficient, my boy. So if you are, you know, an entrepreneur, or if you run an online business and you're looking to, you know, make and actually keep, retain, invest, whatever you want to do, the majority of the money you make, you need to seriously consider lifestyle arbitrage. Making money, but putting yourself in a position or placing yourself in a part of the world where you actually spend not as little money. Like, we don't want to be out here living on pennies. We want to still have a good life, but living in a different part or region of the world can allow you to have a good quality of life without overpaying, you know, and it can still be affordable. Having a good quality of life does not mean to say that it cannot be affordable. You just have to think about, what part in this big ass world do I need to place myself within so I can have both? It's never either or, always both in life, boys. But look, boys, knowing the best place to go or the best city to move to is literally only half of the battle, because another thing that I face very quickly on is the people that is around you in the new place that you decided to go and move to. Looking at myself now compared to a year ago when I first moved to Thailand, the people that I'm surrounding myself with are completely different, and as a result, I have now become a completely different person because of the people I've got around me. The people around me now, the boys, my brothers, are hustling, working hard, building themselves up every single day, all running an online business, all fucking killing it, making good money, and literally getting in the best shape of their life, no excuses. And that motivates the fuck out of me to go and level up, because I'm not trying to be the weakling. So every day I'm waking up and I'm going to Ross Clark get it. So you should think to yourself as well, who do I need to surround myself with, or how, not even who, how can I get access to these type of people that are going to allow me to sustain this lifestyle? We don't want to be that person that's just been like, oh yeah, I'm moving abroad, came out here with 10K in savings. After 6 months, if you're living in Thailand, 1-2 massages later, and now you're going back home, head in your hands, broke. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because you wasn't able to actually sustain yourself and actually set yourself up in a way which allowed you to stay out here. So you didn't have people around you that was really holding you to get to where you wanted to be. be, but no one was there to kind of hold you to that goal and hold you accountable. It's so, so important. Like, learn from my mistakes, boys. But anyways, I've created a free training that goes through how to build a global network, a brotherhood. If you're a guy out there, you know, you're a male entrepreneur running an online business and you're coming out, doesn't matter where you go, you're going to leave home, move abroad, and you want to be around people who are just like you, bro, like-minded and fucking killing it. I've literally made a free training explaining exactly how to do that from A to Z, using my experience in detail as a case study to show you what you do and what you do not need to do. Learn from my mistakes, boys. If you're running an online business or you're looking to move abroad or whatever, you definitely need to go and watch that. Click the link in my description and you can go and find it if it's still up by now. But boys, don't be that person that, you know, doesn't understand lifestyle arbitrage and how to actually position yourself in the right way, and also have the right people around you allow you to sustain yourself when you're on your travels, bro. Like, you're not a backpacker. You're here to choose a place in the world that is going to allow you to build good wealth and live a good quality of life, bro. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So as I said, check the link in my description and I'm going to see you on the other side, my boy. Love.